David?
Hey, Mike. David Moore, Dallas Morning News. Would you discuss the changes you made on the practice squad and just the club's rationale in making this many changes this late in the season?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's always tough to make changes, especially with players that have been here for quite some time. But, you know, as we prepare for the playoffs, I mean, there's always conversations that go on, you know, with each position and, you know, the availability. And I think if you look at, you know, some of the moves, you know, veteran experience was part of it, you know, particularly at the O-line and linebacker positions. So, you know, we're just trying to gear up and, you know, make sure that we're locked and loaded for the playoffs.
And is it fair to say this is more, doing this at this stage with those guys, is more just insurance for worst case scenario going forward or injuries versus working them into the mix?
I mean, from my perspective, you never have enough good football players. I mean, you want to keep playing with a healthy dose, you know, as far as how you want to attack in your menu. So I think when you look at the addition of players that have played in games, you know, and that's to be able to add, you know, two particular players, I think that's really important.
Mike Todd Archer with ESPN. You had 7 guys named to the Pro Bowl. Do you recognize those guys today? And what do you do to the guys that you felt maybe should have been recognized?
Well, I mean, there's always guys that you feel should be recognized, but I think it's, you know, this league is about ebb and flow, and you know, and I think, you know, the year that we've had, I think the number 7, you know, reflects that. But yes, we do recognize everybody in the team meeting. We did that this morning. That's always, you know, it's cool to see the joy that everybody expresses for their teammates, and frankly, that's what it's all about.
John Machado with The Athletic. We saw Jonathan Hankins out there. Was he able to do enough to make you think that he could possibly play Sunday?
What's today? Thursday? Yeah.
Thursday.
Yeah, no, he's limited again today, so I thought he had good work yesterday. So, yes, I think he looks good so far.
And then Tyler Smith.
He, you know, obviously he wasn't on limited, but I know just in the meeting this morning he's feeling better. So we'll see. And I would think Tyler would be, you know, if he goes Saturday, candidate. Then because you know we got to be able to see him get out there and move. So, but he's making progress.
Garrett Woodell, CBS Sports. Mike, you talk about the history of the Cowboys a lot. Dak Prescott leads the NFL in touchdown passes, and if he can do that and hold that outright lead, no Cowboys quarterback has done that. What does that say about the season and performance he's had this year in your first year in his offense?
Well, I'll say this. I mean, I think any time, and we went through this on Monday with CD, or actually Wednesday with CD, you know, anytime you stand up and say this is the greatest season in the history of the Dallas Cowboys, I mean, that carries a tremendous amount of weight, credibility, and value. So, yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm all about, you know, winning, but you do want to recognize individual performances. So, yes, I mean, our organization has incredible history, incredible tradition, the Hall of Fame players, you know, all that. So to have that type of year, we definitely will recognize it.
Scott Dixon with the AP. Speaking of CD, is it safe to assume that you think he's become an elite receiver in this league?
Just scan the camera, or what? See if you guys remember the show. I mean, yeah, I mean, what the hell? Are you serious? I thought one of those cameras would come up and hit me in the face. Yeah. Yes, I'd say CD's an elite receiver. Yes.
Do you think that he was already there when the season started, or do you think he's kind of grown into that kind of broken thread?
Oh, I think he's just been given more opportunities. I think the targets, you know, represent that. But you know, we started moving them around last year. You know, it's, you know, similar to, you know, the way we play with Amari. So, you know, I think, you know, part of that role is, you know, I mean, if you're going to be a number 1 receiver in the league, I think it's important for him to be able to move around, and he has such a unique skill set. You know, I think he's a dynamic player from the backfield too. So, you know, and remember his rookie year, he was our punt returner. So, I mean, he has the ability to do it all from any spot on the field.
Todd. Obviously, last year with Dak, the big topic was his interceptions, and he's cut those way back. Is that
leads the league in interception percentage? I think. Yeah. What, 1.4, 1.3, somewhere in there? Yeah.
Surprised you knew that.
Probably one of the most important statistics of quarterback play. 1.7 or less will win it annually for you if you're looking for a benchmark or a goals
1.7.
Did he
or
revert,
less. Yeah.
did he just do what he's always done, and that proves that last year was the anomaly for him?
Yeah, last year's over. Yeah, I think so. I think if you go back and look at his history, I think that would be accurate.
Jeff Eacham, CBS Texas. I mean, speaking of the 7 Pro Bowlers, you have at least 2 in each, offense, defense, special teams, only team in the league. Does that speak to what you're trying to build here as far as complementary football and what you preach?
Oh, absolutely. You obviously always want to see as many guys be recognized, but without a doubt, I think we have established that as far as how we played in 21 and 22. Just some of the things they definitely show up statistically. To have a great defense, you obviously want an offense to complement it. And a big part of our job responsibility on offense is to score points, but I think length of drives, time possession was a huge focus for myself and in our offensive staff, just to complement the defense. Because any defense is better when they're only out there for 60 plays. If you're out there continuous for 71, 72 plays, that's a lot to ask for. And we got a lot of Ferraris on defense too. So I mean, it's all part of the mindset and the approach that we've taken this year. And the most important part is the players have delivered.
Dave.
I know this isn't really time for like big picture questions. You're looking at Washington, but just your relationship with Dan Quinn and the bond and how he's developed his defense since you've been here and just being comfortable in who he is to take back the play calling and how much of a role was that in your decision to?
Yeah, I mean, they're separate decisions at different points as far as what the decisions made on offense. I mean, I'll first say, I mean, Dan Quinn's as fine as a human being I've ever worked with. I just think the world of him and just the way he goes about his business personally and professionally. So I want to make sure that is said first and foremost. But as a football coach, I think like a lot of things, we laugh about being old school now because of our age and the length in the league, but I do have an appreciation for the way he came up, and this guy's coached at every level of football, recruiting, college. So we've competed against each other. So I had a tremendous amount of respect before you arrived here. So and have even more for him as a coach now too. So extremely consistent, which is so important to me. I think your leadership has to be the same every day. I mean, peaks and valleys are, a big part of this league as far as the performance component of it and how the league goes. I mean, but, I always look for that in leadership. I don't do well with people that bounce off the wall one day and then are down in the valley the next in leadership positions. So I think we've been a very good fit for one another.
And you joke
I would
about,
put John Fossil and Brian in that category too. No.
you joke a little bit about the old school, but like when you were away from the game, you kind of looked at it and see how you could change and keep up with the trends, and he appeared to do the same.
Yeah.
I mean, what he's doing now is different than his last couple of stops at years.
Definitely, in the year that Dan was out, I just went through it the year before, and we actually communicated during that time, and just some of the things that I did, and the things he was looking at too. So I mean, those were really important conversations, I think, for us, and then with the opportunity to work together.
Mike Edwarder, ESPN. How does the bad experience you guys had Week 18 in Washington?
Mr. Positive shows up. I mean, that's a hell of a lead in that. I'm going to take a drink to get ready for this. Yeah.
I'm going to turn this into a positive, believe it or not.
I'm sorry?
I said I'm going to turn this into a
No,
positive,
go ahead.
believe it or not. Or afford you that.
Happy New Year, Ed.
How can that experience benefit you guys going back there this time? These guys having been through that, losing a game you didn't expect to late in the year when the team had nothing to play for, and what have you told them to expect from Washington?
Yeah, definitely. I think you make a great point, and it definitely was brought up. I think if you look at that game last year, to me it's a reflection of this league. I mean, you saw it happen this past weekend. So in our league, and yeah, definitely. I mean, it's a reminder. it's been, talked about, addressed, and, we have a lot to play for. And I expect our team to go down there and play well, compete at the highest level, and win the game.
Mike.
Michael Gilkin, Dallas Morning News. Having a mature locker room would seem important to kind of handle the lows that are inevitable over the course of the season. But how about a coaching staff in terms of just the tight-knit group that you have? And maybe, I don't know if you've been a part of that staff where they didn't respond to adversity well, but what's that dynamic like in terms of a coaching staff role?
Well, I'll say this. I mean, there's always characteristics you're looking for, experience level, intelligence, background, scheme fit, but you have to have the work ethic. That's you can still outwork people in this league. I think we all travel a path. We all have people that we come up under, and workload capacity is very important to me. And I think that's something that we hired some younger coaches. I think the energy in certain areas has improved. But I think that prepares you very well for those moments. And we have an outstanding staff. And I look at our staff a lot like our locker room. We have veterans. We have guys that have done it a long time. There's a lot of experience. And then you have guys that are ready to take that next step, and then we had a bunch of young guys that I love. I think they're all going to be excellent coaches. So our guys have done a great job with that.
I don't know if you're willing to go into specifics, but any examples of a young coach, just kind of shining through,
Well, I mean, the longer I do this, I think the response. I feel a tremendous responsibility for development. And we talk so much about the development of our young players, and to me, that has to be the backbone of a winning culture and program. And that's why we have young guy meetings where we segments in practice and the padded work. You still keep trying to grow these younger players, but we've actually taken this same approach, and not that we just started this year. We call it young guns and young guys. The young guns being the younger coaches. So it's important to give them growth opportunities. One of the things that I do on Wednesday, it's just like anything. Team meeting time is a very important time, whether it's 10 minutes, 20 minutes, or 25 minutes. But there are growth opportunities within that team meeting that. Like a lot of things, as you get later in the year, you think, well, it'd be easy to cut this out. But and the point I'm making is our young coaches present the look teams, the key players for each opponent. And that's something that I always do, because it's not as much about, them going up and the players need to hear about, Allen and Payne again, with their pictures and video. But it is an opportunity for these young coaches to stand in front of the team. And I always go back to my first time standing in the team meeting when I was first hired in Green Bay. And, you've been a coordinator, so you've talked to the offense, so many times. And, and I just remember the first time I walked in front of the team, and I was like, holy shit, there's so many people in there. I mean, it was just a different feeling. And, you're up there by yourself. And I remember that moment, and I said, boy, if I could ever give a young coach an opportunity to be in these shoes, I think he would serve him well. So I do look for opportunities, whether it's the general of the week. I do look for opportunities to put our guys in front of the team. And the team appreciates it. And what you find is the players, particularly the players at the position of the coach, that's my guy, and that's my guy. So I think this very, growth is so important, but I think it's a very healthy cultural component that, I've done now for probably 12 to 13 years. And so, yeah, I didn't give you any examples, but it goes on. So
We'll wrap up with Calvin.
Calvin Watkins, Dallas Morning News. Oh, sorry, I got in late. Sorry.
it's on camera.
We're at the end of the year. How remarkable has this season been for Jordan Lewis, considering what he came through?
Yeah, unbelievable. It's been released. Yeah, I mean, Jordan Lewis is our, Ed Block Courage Award winner, and just the applause that he received in the team meeting, I think, tells you, clearly what everybody thinks of him as a man and what he's done. Not only just in his career, but specifically since the injury. The comeback, and I can still remember the X-ray. I just, you just think, man, this might be it for him. So to fight back and to see him out there against Detroit making Jordan Lewis plays, so that is so cool, and just really proud and happy for him.
All righty, thank you, Mike.
Thank you.